Good morning, or whatever time it is that you might be listening or watching this. This is the Utah High School Hoops Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Peak. Today, we're going to get into some games tonight. It's Friday, the 23rd. So I want to take a look at some games tonight, and then also look forward into the next couple of weeks and even talk about some emerging player of the year candidates in each particular classification, and we'll see where this one goes. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up onto the stage the schedule for this evening. So, this is over here on Deseret News. You can also use the, I'll pull this up here on my phone because I have really been enjoying. Let me pull this down. But I've really been enjoying this particular. It's the Parrot scoring app, and while it's not perfect, right? It's new, but what's cool about it is you can scroll down. So they have the links for all the games if you wanted to kind of tune in and watch them. So if you want to watch the Maple Mountain versus Timpview game, which we'll talk about here in a second, or Farmington at Weber, which is going to be a great game, or Alta versus Brighton, you can actually go on to this. It's just called Parrot Scoring, and you can go onto the app. You can watch the game. You can also live score on there, which is pretty cool. So if you're a parent, you're just looking for something to do. Maybe your kid was playing JV and plays a little bit or doesn't play much on varsity, and you just want to log on and keep score of the game. You can 100% do that as well. So that's pretty cool. I don't think that there's a desktop application. I record this using a desktop. So we'll go use our friends over here at Deseret News, and I'm going to go through some of these games. Starting with, we're not going to go through every single game on here, so apologies if I skip over your particular team. So 6A certainly has some interesting matchups. Like I mentioned, Farmington at Weber. This is it's a big game for Weber. It's a big game for the RPI. It's a big game it's just a big game in general, I think, because of its implications in region. I'm sure we can come up here. Let's go to standings. And let's take a look at what we have going on here in Region 1. So as you can see, Weber's looking for their first win in region. They're fresh off. I think they just beat Westfield in a double overtime game. So they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. Farmington is at 1-2. But you can see Farmington 10-7 overall. Weber is 7-10. So this will be a big game, even though they're both at the bottom of the region in terms of the overall standings. I do expect for this to be a battle. On the road at Weber is always a tough place to play. So looking forward to that game. And then also right here, so Davis is going to be looking to avenge their loss to Layton. I think that game was even at home. So they're going to be hungry. They're going to be coming out playing a Syracuse team that there's certainly some people who are maybe surprised by Syracuse, but I really like what the Titans are doing. Let's go in here and take a look at some of the stats for the Syracuse Titans. So we've got Colton Honigman. Sorry, I took 4 years of German. Maybe that's not how you say your last name, Colt. But Colton's really been playing extremely well. Look at this. 19.6 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game. You've got Skylar Orton, who's balling out. You got Carter Robinson, the big man in the middle. So Syracuse is going to give Davis some fits, I would expect. You've also got to look at Syracuse as one of those sleeper teams come 6A state playoff times in a pretty wide open 6A. If they come in there healthy with their big three, with Carter, with Skylar, and with Colton, I would say, watch out for dare I say, remember the Titans? Okay. But look for that. Look for those. Those two games are both big in region. Coming down here, we've got Harriman, who gave Westlake their very first loss is going to be trying to avoid the letdown at Cedar Valley. And then you've got Bingham here at Mountain Ridge. So big matchup. Mountain Ridge is sitting here at 12-5. This game is on the road, and Mountain Ridge is similar to Syracuse. I think is a team that is capable of coming out and beating a lot of teams. I watched a little bit of their win at East. Jordan Horsley has been playing really well. Isaac Langston, I watched play a little bit in AAU. And then we've got up here Dylan Hatton. So they've got Carter Price. So there's not one dominant player, which Spencer Dow at 10.7 points per game. And look at that, 7.7 rebounds. So you have a very well-balanced team, which at times can be hard to game plan for. Now, it can also be difficult if you are the Mountain Ridge coach, because maybe you're trying to find there's these high leverage moments, and who's going to step up and be that guy in those moments. So this is probably the best game in region there with Bingham at Mountain Ridge. We'll keep going here. Region 3 has a couple of popcorn getters in Sky Ridge at American Fork. American Fork is really coming on strong lately. They're looking like a real legitimate contender in 6A. They were at the start of the year. They lost a few games. They lost a game to Bingham, but that game at home is going to be big. If Sky Ridge can pull off the upset, that's going to be a big deal. Lehigh at Corner Canyon. So Lehigh just absolutely just destroyed Lone Peak. I mean, just going by the final score, right? I don't watch all these games, but so they get a 30-point win. Lehigh did. Let's go look at their last few games, because obviously Lehigh came out of the gate a little bit underwhelming. They lost some early games. So you look up here, they lost to Highland, they lost to Westlake, they lost to Bingham. Certainly these are those are not three teams that are terrible by any stretch of the imagination. These are three of the top teams in the state. They played some out-of-state teams, losing to Duncanville by 3. Not an issue at all. Keep coming down here. So a lot of out-of-state games for Lehigh. They beat Weber by 3. They lose to American Fork. They beat Sky Ridge by 3. They lose to Davis. So you can tell. And then right here, a 30-point win. And so they're coming off of this big-time performance. I think Ashton Schul had himself a game, if I recall. Yeah, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Tuck Howe, Trevor Anderson. So these guys are coming in, but there is also a team that might not be is maybe one of the hottest teams in Utah right now, is in fact Corner Canyon. So they have not played a ton of teams in the state. So look up here. The aforementioned Syracuse had a pretty good game at Corner Canyon, right? They lose to Lone Peak. So this is where you get a little bit you get yourself into some trouble, right? You go, well, they lost to Lone Peak by 9. Lehigh beat Lone Peak by 30. And so that's not how basketball works. It's just not how basketball works, because sometimes you just have a bad game. That happens in the NBA. It happens in college. It certainly happens in high school. You have a bad game. You have a bad quarter. You can't make free throws. You can't make a 3, whatever it is, right? So that's just going to happen. Then they turn around and they beat American Fork at home. They beat Sky Ridge on the road by 21. So this is going to be a great game. And then looking ahead to next week, Corner Canyon at Davis is going to be just another absolute banger. Corner Canyon is a very dangerous team in 6A as well, I would say. All right, let's go back to our schedule, and we'll keep cruising through here. Get through Region 4, get through Region 5. Down here in Region 6, Bountiful at Woods Cross, rivalry game at Woods Cross, Friday night. Both teams are going to be just fighting. They're very similar. I just saw Woods Cross hung with Olympus, which is a big deal. Elliot Benninger is playing out of his mind right now over there at Woods Cross. Same thing with Lincoln Smith and Wyatt Crane at Bountiful. So this game in particular in Region 6 is going to be is going to be one to watch. If you're into watching high school basketball, like I said, you can go on the Parrot scoring app, you can see the link and you can watch it if it's live streamed. But if you're up in that Davis County, North Salt Lake area and you want to head over to Woods Cross, that would be a game to go watch in Region 6. Here are two games in particular. Well, all three games in Region 7. Salem Hills at Wasatch is a game that Salem Hills can absolutely win. Pleasant Grove at Orem. I saw Simeon Sugacharaga was out. So I think he might be injured, which really changes the calculus for Orem. Hopefully he's back and it's nothing serious. But Pleasant Grove is going to be they just who did PG just they just had a loss, and I can't, was it let's see. The internet will not be faster than my thinking would like it to be. Someone's like, they just lost, and they're saying the team right now. All right. Well, the internet's being slow. PG just had a tough loss. They're gonna be looking to avenge that loss. Sorry, my recall isn't perfect. But so Maple Mountain at Timpview. Timpview ranked 21st in the country on the Massey rankings. If you're not familiar, Massey uses probably the most robust algorithm to do national team rankings. So it's a pretty good indicator. That's why it's up. If you go to prepbasketball.net, I have the Massey rankings as part of my rankings. You can just see the Massey rankings. It updates it on my site every night. It'll do an update. And then also I have the ranking next to the team name. So I don't follow them exactly because I think there's still some nuance in it, but it's a pretty good indicator. So Timpview is 21st right now in Massey rankings. They're number one in the state on my rankings. They're number one in the state on Massey's rankings. I think they might be number one on prep or on Max Preps as well. So, certainly on paper, Timpview should run away with this game, but is it a trap game for Timpview? So now I know Coach Kitchen is going to have the T-Birds prepared because he's doing an exceptional job there. But Timpview, I think it is. Why is this taking so long? I believe next week on I want to say it's on Tuesday of next week that Timpview is playing Wasatch Academy. Let me see. Deseret News, what's going on with your website here, my friends? The team, interesting. The teams are not loading very fast, and even on my app, it's not loading super quickly. So not sure. Something's going on with the servers over there at Deseret News, perhaps. But okay, almost there on my phone. We got Timpview's schedule. So they got Maple Mountain tonight at home. And I'm getting the swirling wheel of sadness. Either way, I believe it's on Tuesday. That's what happens. That's what I get for relying on the internet. Maybe it's mine here in my office. We'll see if I take off the Wi-Fi. I don't want to blame Deseret News. But could that be a trap game, right? Might they be overlooking Maple Mountain a little bit, who's a very good team, right? They just beat I think they just beat Orem. Again, I think that was without Simeon. But it'll be a game just to keep an eye on. I'll just say that. Try one more time if it'll pull up their schedule. Oh, there we go. Okay. So Timpview does, yeah, so they're at LCA on Tuesday the 27th. So sometimes that's how these trap games can go. We'll see what happens. Let's keep going here. We're going to hit Region 8. This is incorrect. Summit Academy is not in, I don't think so. Do I have this wrong? Is Summit Academy, are you? I was thinking that Summit Academy was 3A. Maybe I'm wrong and I have to make a change on my site. But let's go down here. Region 9 has been absolutely brutal in I think a good way for the Region 9 teams getting prepared for the state tournament. So Dixie at Hurricane. Dixie just split with Pineview. So Dixie won at home against Pineview. Pineview got him back at home at Pineview. But certainly these are two of the Dixie and Pineview are two of the top 3 or 4 teams in 4A. But they're going on the road at Hurricane and at Crimson Cliffs. These games, I think, are both toss-ups, honestly. I think that it would not surprise me to see the home teams win in both of those games. And speaking of teams that have been surprising to a lot of people, Snow Canyon and Reggie McKay, Coach Ball over there at Snow Canyon, has got them playing exceptionally well. And so that's another team to watch out for in the 4A state tournament. Coming down here to Region 10, Murray has turned the corner, and Isaiah Bay is absolutely the reason why. I think I posted on Instagram last year. Isaiah hit 13 threes through the whole season, made 13 the whole year. The last 2 games he's hit 10. He had 6, and then he had 4. So he's really found his outside shot. And when you have to play him out at the NBA line, that opens up so much for Murray's offense. So Dang Dang is back for Juan Diego. That's at Juan Diego. I think that's going to be a really good game in Region 10. Region 11, Corner Canyon. Uh, Green Canyon, sorry. Green Canyon at Skyview features 2 of the more underrated bigs in the state. I don't think that we talk enough about I almost said Gavin Lowe. Gavin Crane and Easton Mills. Easton's out at Skyview. Skyview's a team that has just kind of flown under the radar, right? But they're coming in. They're 13-4. Let's see if they'll let me click here. If I got to go through and pull up some. Hey, look at that. We are back. Let's go ahead and look at some. Let's give some Skyview boys some credit here because they're not nearly getting talked about enough. So we've got Zach Oxborough. Zach's averaging 16 points and 4.6 rebounds per game, 2.65 assists per game. You've got McCade Roll, 15.29 points per game. And where am I? Oh, there he is. There's Easton Mills is at 10 and 5. But this is a team that they've just been on a roll. They're, like I said, they're 13-4. They beat some bigger schools. Look up here, they've already played. They played back on December 17th. Green Canyon got a 1-point win, and then since then they beat Tooele, they beat Logan, they lost by 1 against Wasatch, which is there's no moral victories really, but sometimes you get a loss and you're like, that sort of felt like a win. And then since that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they've won 6 straight games, coming in on a high, and they've got Green Canyon coming in. Green Canyon though, 12-6. Let's go give some other Green Canyon players some love here, real quick. All right, let's pull up the stats on Green Canyon. So Gavin Crane, look at this, 20.56, 5.4 rebounds per game. Gavin, you got to be getting close to 1,000 points, right? Let's see here. Look at that, 829 career points for Gavin Crane. He's been on a bit of a tear, 20 points, 17, 16, 24, 33 against Ridgeline. So Gavin's having a tremendous year there for Green Canyon. You've got Gavin Erickson and Carter Etherington, 12.61 points per game for Gavin Erickson. And let's see. Let's go through assists per game. Anybody really standing out there? Not too much, but either way, this team is I don't know much about sort of the northern Utah Logan area when it comes to basketball. So I don't mean to overlook teams up there. Obviously, I think I've got Skyview as number 3 right now in 4A. So I'm really trying hard not to overlook Region 11, but this game between Green River and Skyview is going to be that might be by far the best game in 4A. So let's go down here through 3A. American Heritage is playing some really good basketball. They gave Morgan all that they could handle. I still have not seen a team. I keep trying to conjure teams from 3A that I'm like, oh yeah, they could definitely make a run. Now it is a single elimination tournament with a bunch of teenage boys, so that's why they go out and play the single elimination tournament. Is for that exact reason. Keep going down here through 3A, get into 2A, and let's see, we might get out of region here and talk about a few other games. American Leadership just went down to New Orleans and played a couple of teams out of state. I never know how good these teams are out of state, but they went 0-2, but it looked like they battled. They're going to be a very, very difficult team to beat in the 2A state tournament. Maybe this team for Region 18, Kanab Cowboys, can pull it off. South Sevier versus Enterprise and San Juan at Parowan should both be pretty good games. And we're about done here through 1A. Wayne at Panguitch should be a pretty solid game. Okay, where are do we have non-region games tonight? I know we do, because I'm attending one of them. Huh. Let's see. Do we get the schedule? No. Interesting. Let's see if it's on sports, boys basketball, scores and schedules. See if it's on the app. Or, you know what I'll do? Region 1, Region 2. I'm going to see if it's... Oh, there we go. Why are the non-region games... Huh. Interesting. Well, I can tell you that there's at least one non-region game tonight, which is Judge Memorial at Lone Peak. And so Judge is in the middle of just an absolutely brutal stretch in their schedule. So they played Layton Christian Academy last night, which was a very good game. Judge ended up losing that by 9. They scored 5 points at the end of the game. So it was like a 10 to 15 point game. LCA went on a big run to open the third quarter. It was essentially a tie game at half. LCA came out in the third and went on like a 14-2 run to create a little bit of space. I think the lead got up to about 16 or 18 at one point. Judge cut it back. Made it interesting. There's a couple possessions where in the fourth quarter with about 4 minutes left, you're like, man, if a 3 goes down here and it's a 9-point game or a 10-point game, maybe they got a chance. But so Judge played that game last night, and then tonight they go down to Lone Peak and play, and then next week they go at Wasatch Academy. So pretty rough stretch. But if you know Coach Sand, this is what he does: is he just schedules tough games. All right, I'm going to open up here. Let's go to our leaderboard over on Deseret News. Let me pull this back up. Let's go through and let's look at 6A. Now, obviously, we're going to have scoring leaders. We're going to have rebound leaders and probably assists and steals and whatnot. So, but what I want to do is I want to use this as who do we expect at this point is going to be in kind of the running for 6A Player of the Year, and I would think that you're not going to get a much better list right now than Carter, Ashton, and Luke. Now, I would throw, if Harriman keeps doing what they're doing, I would throw Carlo Mulford into the mix as well. So those would kind of be my 4 at this point. Parker was off to a really hot start. I don't imagine that they're going to have two players as kind of. Do they even do final candidates? Parker is certainly deserving of a All State first team All State nomination, no doubt. But in terms of just Player of the Year, I think it's going to come down to Carter Miller or Luke West in 6A. And with kind of we'll call it a dark horse of Carlo Mulford, or if Lehigh keeps playing the way they are, Ashton Schul will certainly be up there. Come down here to rebounds. Man. But what about like where's Bryce Mella on this list up here? There he is. So Bryce is at 16.4 points per game. Bryce and Jax are how could I forget about what they're doing? So, I would let's throw Bryce Mella into the mix there as well for 6A Player of the Year, especially if they end up winning it all. But look, Carter's leading the state in assists per game. He's got to be up there as well in rebounds. He's a very, very good rebounding guard. Let's see, there he is right there, 5.3 rebounds per game. Got Luke West up there, and then he's also leading the state in steals. It's gonna be tough for someone to beat out Carter. I would say for 6A Player of the Year, but Luke is certainly capable. Bryce Mello is certainly capable. And if Harriman keeps winning, or if Lehigh keeps winning, I would throw Ashton and Carlo in there. 5A, you've got it's really, in my opinion, it comes down to Gavin or Dean in 5A for Player of the Year. It probably comes down to it comes down to Gavin or Dean for Gatorade Player of the Year this year. I can't say anything more. That there's already been so much said about both of these players. They're playing exceptional basketball. By the way, shout out to Mason Hansen. He's averaging 19 points per game. I'll get back to Dean and Gavin here in a second, but I this is the second time I've talked about it. I have rarely witnessed like a team that was like the Springville LCA game, watching Mason score 30 points in 3 quarters when nobody else could get anything to fall, and they are game planning for him, was very impressive. He just got 1,000 points for his career. So congratulations to Mason Hansen. But let's get back to Player of the Year. It's going to be either Gavin or Dean. Has Gavin done what has Gavin done to warrant not repeating, I guess would be the question. He's just an inevitable basketball player. If I'm coaching the Olympus Titans, there's never going to be a single point in any game where I feel like I'm out of it because Gavin Lowe has the ball, and he's just an imposing force. So you got Dean. Dean is leading the state in 3-pointers. He's third in scoring. Let's come down here to rebounds. Oh, I guess Dean is not in the up here on the top. Jamin Sundrup is averaging a double-double. Shout out to Jamin. You got assists. Got Gavin up there at 6 assists per game. So, man, that's a tough one for me. It's between 5A Player of the Year and Gatorade Player of the Year. I'm not. I think you have to take it. And maybe it's something where Gavin repeats as Gatorade Player of the Year, and Dean wins 5A Player. I'm not sure how that works, but either way, what a great time to be covering Utah high school basketball and being able to watch players like this. Okay. Coming over here to 4A. I'm really leaning towards Makai Allen pretty heavily winning 4A Player of the Year. Provo is to me, they're the clear number 1 team. I think they're going to finish as the clear number 1 team. Whether or not they win it, I don't know. we'll get into 3A. They're not the Morgan of 4A. I think Provo is certainly beatable, and there's a lot of, I mean, I watched the 17th ranked team in 4A give one of the top teams in the country a run for their money last night. So if and every team in between there, it feels like is capable of going out and beating another team. So, but I'm gonna give this to Makai Allen here early. That would be that's my guess. Timpanogos could continue to make a run, and Jackson is certainly going to be first team All State. I think that Jackson McCuston is certainly deserving of it as well. Dang Dang is playing. Ayman Ishmael. They're all these guys are playing at such a high level. AI is leading in 3 pointers per game. Well, I guess he's tied with Jackson. Let's get down here to rebounds. So Dang Dang's coming back in. He's averaging a double double. So is there can be a case to be made for Dang. He's got to be leading in. Also, probably blocks per game. Maybe. Let's see if he's up here. He's second to Luca. So, yeah, I mean, Makai Allen is probably my favorite. I think that there's an argument to be made for Jackson or Dang or Iman. Honestly, I mean, Judge has to make a pretty concerted run here at the end, but Iman Ishmael is certainly a guy that I would also keep an eye on. Okay, so 3A, it's going to be Bracken Saunders again. He's going to win 3A Player of the Year. He should. I don't know. He should win 3A Player of the Year. He should repeat as 3A Player of the Year, and Morgan should repeat as the 3A state champions. Let's go down here to 2A, and this is going to be an interesting one. Kyle Brown, currently I have Kanab as the #1 team. In 2A, with American Leadership Academy right behind him, I think that Cooper Crockett is probably it's going to come down to, if I had to guess, it's going to come down to Cooper or Kyle, or potentially Kobe Ross. Does Drew Miller? Drew is certainly going to be a player, or Tate Pace. These two guys are certainly going to be guys that are going to be players in the future that we'll be talking about as potential 2A players of the year. I don't think that they get it this year, but Cooper's averaging a double-double. ALA is playing exceptionally well. Kobe Ross is, he's kind of setting the table, but you got Kyle Brown right here. I think it's going to come down to Kyle Brown or Cooper Crockett in 2A for 2A Player of the Year. And then let's go down here to 1A Player of the Year, and we will wrap it up after this. So a bunch of guys up here. It's been a couple years now. I've been talking about Ridge Lundgren. He just hit 1,000 career points over at the Rich Rebels. He was injured to start the year. They've won like 8 in a row, I want to say. My guess is that Ridge is going to end up as 1A Player of the Year. A lot of these guys, though, are certainly going to be up there in terms of first team. Manila's playing well. You got Cale Chowning and T. Goodman, both who could make a case for it. Hagan Jameson, fresh off of a triple-double over at Tintic. Jason Hernandez had 1,000 career points out at Green River. So I'm gonna say we're gonna get it's gonna be Ridge, but I honestly don't know enough about 1A basketball to make that a definitive claim on that. Okay, we are 35 minutes into this episode, and I have to get to work. So a ton of good stuff going on in the state of basketball here in Utah. I hope that everybody has just an absolutely wonderful day. Enjoy this time of year. I wish it would snow so we could get some water, but I can't make that happen. What I can make happen, though, He's talking about some Utah high school hoops. So everyone have a great day. Stay safe. Be kind. Thanks.